Today I'm going to talk about the best practices I do to maximize my card rewards while avoiding all the traps that credit cards bring. Credit cards are great tools that bring us much rewards, but at the same time, they are obviously financial products designed to maximize profits for the banks. As self-proclaimed captain of team value, how do I make sure that I come up ahead versus the banks and avoid their pitfalls? Credit cards give great rewards, but have you ever wondered who pays for them? When you use your card for purchase, the retailer pays the credit card company a merchant fee of around 3%. As a result, they often have to increase the price of their goods accordingly, but they do so for everyone, including those who pay cash. Funnily enough, the first trap of credit cards is that things are more expensive when you don't use a credit card for your purchase. So if you're someone who pays with cash, you're actually paying the inflated price of goods and services, basically subsidizing the rewards of those who use credit cards. Even if you use a credit card, if you're using something with poor rewards like a wimpy 1.5% cashback or 1.4 miles per dollar, you are still subsidizing the rewards of those who use higher earned cards of 6 to 8% or 4 miles per dollar. This is why you should opt for high earned cards wherever possible. Of course, this is obvious and easier said than done because many high earned cards have their own traps of minimum spends, maximum spends, and other requirements. If you don't meet these conditions, you often get rewards that are even worse than 1.5% cashback or 1.4 miles per dollar. For instance, HSBC Live Plus only gives 0.3% cashback instead of its 8% earn rate if you don't meet its conditions, and Citi Rewards only gives 0.4 miles per dollar if you don't use it properly. It can be difficult to keep track of such things, which is why many people would rather use a 1.5% cashback card or a 1.4 miles per dollar card since it is more fast free. Dobin, the sponsor of today's video, can help you with such cards. As an app, Dobin started as a money tracker app, but he has started to include a lot of credit card features. It turns out that one benefit of tracking your credit card expenditure with Dobin is that it can now let you track things like minimum spend easily. HSBC Live Plus gives an excellent 8% cashback on things like dining, but you have to meet $600 minimum spend each month for a quarter. Because you can lose your cashback for the entire quarter if you miss a single month, it is very important to track your minimum spend closely. Minimum spend aside, many cards also come with a maximum cap for bonus rewards. UOB Preferred Platinum Visa only gives its 10 time points earn rate on up to $1,110 spent per month. Citi Rewards has a cap of $1,000 each month. These cards don't have trackers, so you need to manually calculate them by referring to the bank apps. This is very cumbersome. DBS does have a tracker which you can find in the U app under DBS. The problem with this is that the tracker seems to take forever to update, so it is not as useful for me when I'm in line wondering if I have hit my $600 monthly limit. Dobin has proved very useful in these cases, helping me keep track of how much I spend within the month. After refreshing the app with the banks, it gives me very up-to-date information so I know which card to use. Previously, I had to use Excel to manually tabulate transactions, and it was so time consuming that I abandoned it altogether, and this resulted in me sometimes exceeding the spend caps on my cards and earning very low rewards because of that. Now I just need to make sure I refresh each bank regularly so my info is up to date. Another trap for many high-earned cards is that there are also other conditions to get the higher rewards. Some cards only give you higher rewards online, while some cards only do so when it's a certain merchant category code. So if you use the wrong card for the wrong transaction, you get pretty poor earn rates yet again. Let's say if I want to buy an Apple Vision Pro from the Apple online store, I better pick the right card to use because that thing costs $5,299 at the cheapest. The difference between using a good card and a not so good one can be huge. Since I'm buying from the online store, I might think to use the DBS Women's World Mastercard since that gives 10 time points or 4 miles per dollar for online transactions. Dobin will tell me that this only earns me 7,518 miles. This is because DBS Women's World Mastercard only gives it 4 miles per dollar earn rate on a maximum of $1,500 per month, and the remaining amount only gets 0.4 miles per dollar. Instead, Dobin recommends KrisFlyer UOB card because that can earn 3 miles per dollar without a cap, getting me 15,897 miles, more than double if I had used the wrong card. As a plus, since Dobin has access to my transaction history, it also knows that I'm just under the $800 minimum spend requirement on Singapore Airline transactions, so I better hit that soon if I do want to enjoy the 3 miles per dollar earn rate on the KrisFlyer UOB card. If I want a cashback, Dobin shows me that Citi SMRT card is the most appropriate with as much as $265 of cashback. That is almost enough to buy Apple's ridiculously overpriced space bag for the Vision Pro. If you use a 1.5% cashback card, you only get $80 from this purchase, a very far cry from $265 or 15,000 over miles. There are some irregularities here and there in the app, but Dobin has been constantly fixing issues as the app evolves. As it is, it's a good start to narrow down cards for your next transaction, and you can always go to my Telegram for a sense check with more than 20,000 subscribers on the best card to use for your next purchase. Make sure you use the correct card, especially for bigger purchases, or you have fallen into the trap of sponsoring the rewards for someone else. When chasing credit card rewards, I would encourage everyone to find out the value of a mile to them. Given that the two major kind of rewards credit cards give are cashback and miles, knowing the value of a mile can help us more effectively figure out whether we get more value from miles or cashback. It's like if I asked you, would you rather have 1000 Thai baht or 1000 Taiwanese dollars? Most people might naturally reply, what's the exchange rate, before making their decision. Similarly, miles and cashback are simply two currencies given by credit cards, and knowing the value of miles lets us make better decisions. While the valuations of foreign currencies and cashback are readily apparent, the value of a mile is not so obvious, and I think it's on purpose to be not so obvious. Some may simply take the ticket price of a business class seat to find out how much their miles are worth, and I think that's what the banks and airlines want you to do. For instance, a return flight to Tokyo on business class with Singapore Air can cost around $4,000 if we pay using cash. At the same time, this return trip costs 104,000 KrisFlyer miles. One will then use the $4,641 divided by 104,000 miles and think, oh, my miles are now worth more than 4 cents each. While this may seem logical, it is actually what I call the miles value trap. Would you actually be willing to pay $4,641 for the business class flight to and fro Japan? If yes, then your miles are indeed worth more than 4 cents each. But if you're someone who says that you'll never pay more for a business class flight, then the miles are never worth 4 cents to you in the first place. I've described this in my TikTok video and you can take a look if you're interested, but the gist is this: if you are not willing to pay a premium for business class flights, and you are willing to do so using miles, you're actually giving up cashback for miles and are indirectly paying for your business class flight. $104,000 of miles requires $26,000 of spend on a 4 miles per dollar card. Now, if you have gotten 6% cashback on this $26,000, you have gotten $1,560. If you have gotten 8% cashback instead, you would have $2,080. So if you're someone who wouldn't pay $1,500 to $2,000 over dollars for this business class flight, but yet give up cashback cards to earn miles for your business class flight, well, you're just being upsold by the airlines to pay more indirectly via opportunity cost. To avoid this trap, you can actually use Dobin to sort cards by miles or cashback when finding a credit card to use. If you are buying a Vision Pro, would you rather have $265 of cashback or 15,000 over miles? Let me know in the comment section which you prefer, as well as the destination you want to visit via business class, and I'll let you know how much that business class ticket really cost you. Another best practice to have is having an efficient system to stay on top of annual fees and paying on time to avoid late fees. Part of being really deep in the game of credit card rewards is that I have almost 40 credit cards. This makes a lot of sense because of all the attractive sign-up bonuses as well as the ongoing rewards I get from these cards, but management of so many cards is obviously going to take a lot of work. First of all, almost every card comes with an annual fee. Some are worth paying for, like City Prestige, because I get perks like unlimited lounge access and free hotel nights, but paying $196 for 10,000 miles with cards like DBS Altitude or City Premium Miles is actually quite a bad deal. It is like paying 2 cents per mile, and to me that is quite an expensive rate to buy miles at, so it is best to waive such fees. This is easier said than done in practice, of course, when you have multiple cards to manage. I use Dobin to help me quickly spot annual fees across my cards. Simply type annual in the search field and I can get one look at all the annual fees that have been charged to me across the banks I've linked to Dobin. Or you can just tap on bank charges under financial insights and the app will collate all the different fees your bank has charged you. Dobin is indeed sponsoring this video, but I have to say that this free app has brought me hundreds of dollars of value because it has helped me spot annual fees I've overlooked at least twice now, and those are on cards that didn't even give miles to begin with. So that's almost $400 saved right there. Another excellent benefit of having transactions all in one place is how one can quickly spot fraudulent transactions. There is yet another trap of having multiple credit cards like I do. Previously, to catch these annual fees and fraudulent transactions, I had to eye each and every single statement on my card, and it's quite time consuming when you're using multiple cards like me to maximize rewards, but with Dobin it's now a lot more convenient. The app also allows me to see payment due dates across my different credit cards across all my different banks, so I can avoid hefty late fees should I forget to pay them. Lastly, in the game of chasing credit card rewards, it can be quite easy to get carried away just to earn more points and miles. And that's exactly what credit cards are designed for, getting people to spend more, and that can be a trap that's quite difficult to avoid. As much as I like to pride myself on being prudent, I find that I have been spending more as a result of credit cards just trying to earn more miles for my next business class flight. Now, to avoid the trap of overspending, tracking your finances is very important, but it can be very troublesome. In the past, I used to have smartphone apps where I manually input each transaction so that I know where my money is going, and for almost 10 years, I kept up with this habit and I credit it for making me a more frugal person. In recent years, however, I have stopped doing so because my work has just been getting busier. I tried a few times to restart the habit, but I often find myself forgetting to log transactions for a bit, then giving up altogether because the info isn't complete and therefore not meaningful. Dobin very helpfully tracks all the expenses I made, and this is now across all my credit cards. I have a bird's eye view of all my transactions without having the painful task of logging each transaction manually, and it even categorizes them so I immediately know where my money is going. It isn't perfect though, and some transactions are tagged wrongly, but it is possible to change the categorization so that I can categorize my expenses in a manner that is relevant to my own budget. One of my favorite features here is that I just came back from a trip and I can easily find out what I've spent even though I used multiple cards for this trip. I just need to go to all transactions, select the multi-select button, and tap on all my transactions in the days I was overseas to see the total I spent. And this made tracking my expenses so easy. I just had to spend a couple of minutes at the lounge, sipping my cocktails and then tapping away my phone. And I didn't need to use Excel for it. And yeah, under the influence of the cocktails I was having, I don't see how I can manage Excel. Hopefully, these practices will help you avoid all the common pitfalls and traps of credit cards and make credit card reward maximization a much easier process, as it has done for me. Remember to subscribe to my Telegram for more great deals and updates, and check out this video where I chat to Dobin's founder about things like security. So see you in that video.